Well, I uploaded one very controversial video, and I'm kind of wary of doing that again. Although I didn't really make my point about the book Might is Right, which was that it influenced the Nazis. It influenced Anton LaVey, who wrote the Satanic Bible. He didn't write the Satanic Bible. As I said, it was plagiarized from Might is Right. But my father used to quote from it, which was what put me onto it in the first place. Anyway, that aside, politics aside, on the videos I'm uploading at the moment, I'm sort of talking about the fact that my mother also appears to have borrowed identities. I hope I'm not repeating what I've already uploaded. In the first place, I have been talking about my belief that she borrowed the identity of a relative of hers to give birth not once but twice. Well, she wasn't married. And in fact, she and my father did not marry until 1978. Well, didn't marry each other. And my mother never married anyone else, whereas I've kind of lost track of the number of my father's marriages. So I believe my mother borrowed that identity. And I have run through my reasons for thinking so. But there are, and I've said that there are question marks around the identity of just about everyone in my nuclear family. I got very confused, for example, about my date of birth and place of, and just about everything else. I have already said on another video that I had a birth entry in triplicate, altered twice. That was one thing. I hope I haven't said on an uploaded video, I have said it, that the birthday my father chose, that my father gave on my birth registration, he registered it. The 12th of August just happens to have been the birthday of Hitler's mother. It goes a bit further than that. On the 12th of August, Hitler used to hand out medals to women who are mothers of 4 or more children. I don't know if there's any significance to that number, i.e. whether my mother gave birth to only the 2 I know of, or whether there were more. I have speculated about that on videos currently uploading. But I don't believe my birthday was the 12th of August. It's just too much that it was about the birthday of Hitler's mother and the day he handed medals to mothers. My father was also extremely vague as to where I was born. It's the only birth certificate I've got which doesn't name a place. It says maternity hospital, and that's that. He later told me that it was Willington Quay. Willington Quay does have a maternity hospital. It's also right beside the an international ferry terminal, which did make me wonder, I have to say, about the transportation of babies to Germanic families, suitable Germanic families as per Lebensborn. Then there was the fact that I could not find my mother's return from Australia. My brother and father returned on one passport, and she was not on it. I couldn't find an entry for them either, but I did find one similar enough to think that, yes, that's probably them. That's also extremely complicated, though, and needs a lot of explaining. But the people I found, or person I found, ties in very well with the rest of my father's extended family about which I knew nothing. In terms of geographically, it ties in as well with my father's stomping grounds. But that did leave my mother unaccounted for, how and where and when she got back. Now, I hope I haven't talked on an uploaded video about the entry I did find, which was for Phyllis and Olive Oakley. And they came in from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, on the 12th of August 1954, which is my date of birth. I know I've talked about this before, I just hope I haven't uploaded it before. So then I had that, which also raised my eyebrows a lot. In fact, it blew my mind quite a bit, especially when I then found that Olive Oakley had a death entry, and the death entry gave her date of birth as being the same as my mother's date of birth, the 30th of June 1915, so that by that time my both eyebrows had raised. But I was concentrating on the wrong woman, because it was Phyllis Oakley who was the same age as my mother, and Phyllis Oakley who married a Herbert Oakley, and a Herbert Oakley who was the second alias Dick Oakley. I've got a horrible feeling I have said this before on an uploaded video. I hope not, especially as I'm a bit breathless at the moment. It didn't end there. By the time my father got back from Australia, his wife had been living with another man for 5 years, and taken his name 4 years previously, I think it was, and given their daughter that name in 1949. And my father got back in 1953. In 1952, his wife divorced him. Well, that left her free, I would have thought, to procreate as she wanted with the man she was living with. Except that when that couple finally married, his marriage had also been dissolved, so she might still have been living with a married man, although she was no longer married. However, in 1954, she had a baby 44 days before my mother had me. Put it another way, in the year that my father returned from Australia, his now ex-wife conceived for the first time since Karen, although she'd been living with a man for 5 years. And my father returns, and pronto she's pregnant. And so is my mother. And I wonder a great deal about the two babies. Colin, born to her and still living with her, aged 53, unseen by the neighbours and apparently ill. And me. And what I wonder, actually, is whether both of us were born to the same woman. And whether that woman was Enid, not my mother. I hate going off into all of this, because then I look at photographs and I think, no, my granddaughter looks a little bit like my mother. That can't be it. My mother must have been my mother. And then I think, hang on, but then there's the blood groups. The blood groups in my family also do not tally. Unless my father's blood group, which he always claimed not to know, was a very rare subgroup of the blood group B, which is the rarest blood group. Just a little bit more about the possibilities of twinning and child trafficking and what exactly that did go on.